Hello, viewers. Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all today? Wherever you are in the world when you're watching this, I hope that everything is just fine with you. I stayed up into the early hours of the morning listening to the audio of the Supreme Court cases, the House subpoenaing Trump's financial records, the Intel Committee, the Financial Services Committee, the House Oversight Committee, and I also stayed to listen the Manhattan DA's case as well. Going back to my earlier reading, well, I'll get to some good news. There is good news mixed in with all of this as well. But first, SCOTUS. In my reading, I saw that the Manhattan DA's case was very strong, that it most likely would be upheld, but there may be some kind of 2-month or so wait for something to occur, whether or not that is for the grand jury to do its deliberations or something else, because we've now found that SCOTUS they haven't ruled yet, may send that back to a district court to refine the standard, which isn't, of course, a win. It just means that they would be, the district court would be tightening up why the Manhattan DA needs to see that. Now, see those financials. The standard, of course, is can the Manhattan DA's office get that information from anywhere else? Well, I wouldn't have thought so. So this is not a win for Trump if it goes that way. The House Financial Services case looked a bit weak. That's where I felt, and of course, well, generally I felt that the SCOTUSes were pushing back, or at least raising the idea of harassment of this president and the partisan nature, perhaps, of requests. Legal pundits today are saying that the House Financial Services case looked a bit weak, but the House Intel case is so much stronger. So they can't see, and accordingly the House Oversight as well, they can't see a situation, legal pundits, where the House Intel would be blocked from having a look at those financials, or the Deutsche Bank records, I should say. And in terms of the Manhattan DA's case, underneath New York Attorney General Letitia James, DA Vance's boss, of course, justice most likely will be done there. So I've not changed my feeling from before. I'm not from the cards that I read. The Manhattan DA's case appeared to be quite strong. The House partisanship was raised with the House cases. However, I have to say that legal pundits are saying that it is likely that they may rule, we don't know, but they may rule in favour of allowing the House Intel to have that, so to have those records. So that's where the Supreme Court came out. You can expect rulings in late June or July, so it's not a now thing. If they flick that case back to the district court in Manhattan, that will create a delay and most likely would not be forthcoming before November election. So this is the real danger, is there going to have to be another wait, and these financials won't be here before the election. We'll have to wait and see. Let's just ask that question, and then I'll get on to why I've jumped on today, and that is Judge Sullivan. And you can see me with this smile because there is rather good news there, or rather interesting turn of events. So let's have a look at SCOTUS. Will we see Deutsche Bank records? Will we see at least Deutsche Bank records before November? See Deutsche Bank. Will the House Intel Committee get hold of the financial records it needs before November? House Intel financial records before November. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune is generally a yes card, but let's keep going and see what else we pull. We've got the past card in the challenge position over the Wheel of Fortune. Then we've got the Emperor as the foundation of the reading. Remember that Emperor came up and was challenging the authority of the court. So I don't think any of those SCOTUS want to give Trump blinding power, executive authority. That was very clear in the SCOTUS hearings last night. The idea that Trump has immunity from prosecution, that he has this overriding executive authority to do what he likes, it just didn't wash in the Supreme Court. Justice we've got coming up here in the past position. What's overhead? The King of Swords, investigation. And I'm coming back to the Mueller report as well. Having to wait. We're going to have to wait for this. We've got the King of Cups in the here and the now. And the challenge to that is surprise news. I'm still getting a pull that we will get those financials before the election. We've got the King of Cups in the hopes and fears position. Funny how that keeps turning up. We've got the Six of Swords, which is moving on. It's a movement card. But we've also got it clarified by very, very hard work. This is an uphill battle at the moment. And the Knight of Pentacles, some kind of financial news. Let's see what's at the base of the pack. Of course, Trump having to defend himself. We do have the Queen of Pentacles, national security as well. We do have the Democrats, my card for the Democrats, it's a celebration. And we do have the Star of Hope. So I'm just going to drill down on that Six of Swords because these aren't major arcana, although the Wheel of Fortune, the karmic card, came out. The King of Swords, which means that an investigation could be launched before November. And the Six of Swords, moving out of troubled water, are all positive indications. Let's see. Show me the Six of Swords. Will the Supreme Court grant the Intel Committee what it needs to investigate Donald Trump? Okay, so we've got judgment. Judgment is certainly going to be delivered, and we've got the Death card, endings. And we've got the money in, money out, which is the money laundering, and the money news, the financial records. They do have a very difficult or hard decision. When I say hard, it's not hard. It's just that there are all these competing interests, as Judge Roberts said. I wonder if those competing interests also include a loyalty to the Republican Party. The Magician card, and we've also got the loss here. Those financials show Trump's overseas. There's double validation in the near future. Show those that shadow foreign policy. I'm saying that it is likely that the House Intel Committee will get those financials and allow an investigation then to go forward. That would most likely be, I guess, some kind of impeachment. But July is very late, isn't it? All right, so let's have a look. They might do that investigation and release something before the election. Let's have a look at the Manhattan DA's case. And I think the question here is, will it be delayed and go back to the district court? I don't see the delay being that long, so I'm not sure what that means. But the Manhattan DA, the Supreme Court, how will it rule? How will it rule in the Manhattan DAs? I can't see they would allow it too long a delay because that's not in the interests of... This is a criminal case, so it's not in the interests of justice to have that delay there. Okay, so will the Supreme Court grant, or will the Supreme Court provide the Manhattan DA with those fine... No. Okay, let's start again. Will the Supreme Court send the Manhattan DA's case down to the district court to refine that standard there, so that the DA would have to meet that standard that they can not get that information from anywhere else. Okay, so will that case go down to the district court? So we've got the Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving help. We have challenged by holding back the information. That's loans and debts. Loans and debts and holding that information back. I guess the way the money was made, these are all pentacles. We do have the King of Wands. These are the lawmakers in the and investigators or lawmakers in the past. We have a clear case of money laundering here. This is what this is showing up. We've got yes in the immediate future, but that is new starts, a clean slate. We've just got the wish card in the here and now, can sometimes be the merchant card. Look at all these pentacles. That case is where the skeletons, the money trail will be found. The hopes and fears going back to the past. The Knight of Wands. Okay, so that's a plan that goes forward. And we have restriction, and we have a celebration here. Let's see what is at the base of the pack. The truth, the decision that needs to be made, and the weight. This Two of Wands came up in the reading before. There is some kind of weight here for justice. Let me just check on that Knight of Wands. Show me that Knight of Wands. Show me that Knight of Wands. Will it go down to the district court? Yeah, these are yes cards that are coming forward. The Emperor, Trump, a lot of news, something around his money, and the Lovers, of course, the deals. And we've got the lawmakers. I'm not certain that it will. I still feel there could be a 2 months delay, but that's when we're hearing. We're not going to hear about this until July. Unlikely, late June or early July is the timetable. Around about could be 2 months away or getting there. This is a card of having to wait for something. We've got at the base of the pack, we've got the Queen of Pentacles and the Star card. So that case is all about digging up the money trail. It's a very, very strong case. It's a criminal case. I do feel there's a wait for it, but for some reason I don't feel it's that long. So let's see if the Manhattan DA will get those records before November. Will the Manhattan DA get Trump's financials before November? Will the Manhattan DA get those financials before November? The Knight of Pentacles. The digging around for the money. Yes, I think new starts. I think that they will. Knight of Cups, some kind of offer. I felt that the Supreme Court was going to offer the Manhattan DA something. I don't know how. I said I didn't know how that would work. If they do send it down to the district court, would it then be expedited so that it could be quickly heard? Having to make fairly difficult decisions about the past, something in the past. We do have loss here for somebody, and we do have this wait. So, but it's not a long wait. I feel it's like 2 months wait. So I'm feeling that they possibly will. I'm feeling that they possibly will get those records before November. All right, now to the really good news. Really good news. And this concerns Judge Sullivan. So, the judge in the Flynn case that I said he would most likely be asking for a please explain your actions, William Barr and Tim Shea. Well, that's exactly what he's done. He has, let me get this correct, he wants to hear from the 2,000 former DOJ employees who disagree with William Barr's move to dismiss the Flynn case. That's from Uncle Blazer at Blake's Mustache on Twitter. If we get a little bit more, take out the language here. The judge in the Flynn case indicates he's going to set a schedule to receive briefs from interested parties regarding the effort by the DOJ to drop the case. Wow. Individuals and organisations will seek leave of the court to file amicus, briefs pursuant to local civil rule. Okay, so wow. Can you imagine what's going to happen now? And the DOJ will, of course, have to defend that. We're going to get some heavyweights filing those briefs. Look for the best lawyers around, constitutional and otherwise, to file those briefs because it's going to be open slather. And that's what the judge has said. He said, okay, you want to do this, then you're going to have to explain it and defend it. And I'm going to give the law, it's almost like the law challenging the DOJ. I'm going to give them a chance to do that. So that is absolutely incredible. So for a bit of fun, get your popcorn and let's just have a look through the tarot, how that's all going to go for William Barr and Tim Shea. I can't help smiling because it is priceless. So let's ask. Show me what is going to happen when Judge Sullivan opens the floodgates to allow organisations and individuals to file these briefs against the DOJ's decision to drop the charges with Michael Flynn. Show me what that's going to look like, Spirit. What are we going to see coming forward? What is this likely to bring forward? Goodness, that can go anywhere. We've got the past here reuniting with our higher selves. That's not a surprise. It gives as I said, the lawyers a chance to challenge the DOJ because the DOJ may not necessarily be representing the law in this case. It's going to cause high anxiety for Barr and Co. Absolutely high anxiety. But look, this is also the anxiety that is coming forward around the dropping of the Flynn cases. I said that there was this high emotion that it wasn't going to be over, even in my initial reading on Bill Barr dropping those charges, that you can expect the floodgates to open. And I think that is what has happened. This high levels of emotion here. New starts is the foundation of the reading. It's just not going to be left the way that Bill Barr and Trump want. Now, we've got strength and endurance in the past, but it's in the past position. Look what we've got. You're going to be hearing the truth. Here's our Ace of Swords in the sky. Let me just push that back a bit. And you've got heartbreak there and loss. The truth is coming out. I would be not liking to be in Flynn's shoes at the moment, nor Tim Shea's. Let me say that name. He is the
Barr's advisor, who was now took over when the prosecutor of Flynn stepped back in protest for those charges being dropped, holding back information and insecurity. So they're very insecure about this at the moment because they feel that it will bring forward more information. But this is in the present, this suspension of information, and this is what they didn't want. I'm getting the pull back to what Flynn had over Trump and perhaps a threat to talk if Trump didn't get him off it. This is even better, really, for justice than had the judge sentenced Flynn. Trump would pardon him. Now we get to hear the truth. Okay, now we've got this independence, freedom, but money here as well in the fear position. Lies and deceit, okay, is going to, that pretty well sums it up. This is what you're going to hear. You're going to hear lying and you're going to hear the truth. And this is the battle that this Judge Sullivan wants you to hear. He wants you to hear the truth. Now that is amazing, amazing. Okay, the truth that Flynn was a hired mercenary. I think he called him treasonous, didn't he? There has been disappointment, but the Four of Cups gives us another chance here. So don't be too disappointed. We've got another chance. Now we've got I have no idea what the outcome will be other than we're going to hear the truth. We've got the Six of Swords here, moving out of troubled waters. We do have the foreign policy here, Trump's foreign policy, and we do have celebrations, could even be cover-ups, and money news. So again, it all comes back to the truth about Trump's foreign policy and potential alleged money laundering. That's the bottom line here. Okay, so also what Flynn did for money as well. This could even result, now I'm just sort of going ahead a bit, this could even result in another investigation being opened. If someone brings forward information, anything could happen. Information of illegality could be brought forward, and this could see something else be opened. This is exactly what Bill Barr did not want. And before I go, I'm just going to look at how does he feel about Judge Sullivan's latest move, Bill Barr. Now, he got the death card. Now, this will intensify calls for him to resign. The more evidence, or the more truth that comes out, intensifies a call for Barr, who intervened allegedly improperly, to step down. So let's have a look. How does Bill Barr feel about this today? How does Bill Barr feel about Judge Sullivan's latest move to open it up for briefs to be filed from interested parties, challenging the DOJ for dropping the charges? How does Bill Barr feel? He always likes to do things on the quiet, and this is anything but. Temperance, balance is coming back into this situation. Challenged by Barr's relationship with Trump. That's going to come up, and it is going to be a challenge to the rule of law. Just take a look at those two cards. They're very significant. The balance of the rule of law is being challenged by Trump's relationship with Barr's relationship with Trump. The truth is the foundation of the reading. The Star of Hope is what got us here. Now, lots and lots of information is going to come forward. That's what he is worried about. The King of Swords, investigations. I'm getting a real pull to who might This could be also people on Mueller's team who are no longer with the DOJ will file a brief. Oh my goodness me. And there's going to be lots and lots and lots of them. Okay. Review. The whole thing is going to be reviewed. The dropping of the charges, the status quo, the whole thing, in light of what's going to come forward, is going to be reviewed by this judge. This judge has now, in taking this action, has opened the whole thing up for review. There is a fear. He fears judgment, and this judgment is a divine judgment. It's a karmic card. It is something inevitable happening. That's what he fears. The Fool, new starts. Okay. The Queen of Pentacles, around the money and national security. It is the information coming out that he fears, and Flynn being in debt to somebody else. But this is also Trump's financial. So it's like a house of cards, really. At the base of the pack, there was victory for Trump, which is now under review and likely to be restricted. And here we have his foreign policy. It's not looking good for Barr with this Five of Pentacles, which is loss. And we do have the abuse of power, that Five of Swords card, which, hardly means much anymore, does it? But it's showing up here in this reading. So it's exposure for Barr. He likes to do things behind the scenes. This is anything but. There's going to be more information coming out as a result of what Judge Sullivan has done, which is bad for Flynn and bad for Trump, and look to some of those former Mueller prosecutors come and file a brief, because I had that King of Swords, and look to the sheer numbers that are going to flood that court with filings. 2,000 ex-DOJ and attorneys, US attorneys, sign that petition to say that Barr should be removed. That noise is just going to get louder and louder. So how wonderful. What a way, to finish the the SCOTUS hearings. Some people were disappointed, but you can get into that Eight of Swords territory where it's going around and around in your head, or you can just wait for the decision to come down, and understand that the House Intel case is quite strong, even though the other House cases may not be, and the DA, Manhattan DA's case is super strong. Looks like there will be some delay there, but that doesn't mean that DA Vance won't get those financials. It's looking like he will. And it seems to me that there is something that will stop, something being done by SCOTUS that will stop too much of a delay. So I did hear partisanship in some of those arguments. I knew which judges were Republicans and which weren't. I could hear, a little bit of pretense there, a little bit of, it sounded very sophisticated, but that is, to a certain extent, there are differing political persuasions, if I can just call it, not political, but conservative versus, I don't know. There is I could hear a slight partisanship in some of those questions. However, one thing was for sure: no one didn't matter which Supreme Court judge spoke. No one agreed that Trump has ultimate authority and is a king. No one and can usurp the courts or the rule of law's power. No one agreed that. In fact, Trump's solicitors, Trump's attorneys just got slammed on that one. It was quite embarrassing at times. So I'm feeling quite tired now, so I'm going to get off and get on with my day. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that this was this was useful for you. Get your popcorn out with Judge Sullivan. That one's going to be one to watch. Thank you.